Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
News Radio 690 KTSM El Paso.
Live from the KTSM AM 690 studios, it's Talk El Paso with Andrew J. Polk. Be a part of the show by calling 915-544-KTSM, 915-544-5876, or comment online on our stream at facebook.com/Talk El Paso. It's 4 p.m. Mountain Time, and that means it's time to talk El Paso with Andrew J. Polk.
Thank you all so very much for joining us here for Talk El Paso, airing live on News Radio 690 KTSM. I am your host, Andrew J. Polk. Thank you for tuning in, however you may be doing so, be it on air, online, live streaming through the free and reliable iHeartRadio app, or joining us over on the various social media pages we're up on these days, facebook.com/Talk El Paso, the Talk El Paso channel over on YouTube, Twitter at Talk El Paso, or twitch.tv, Andrew J. Polk. A lot of ways to get at us, add your 2 cents, chime in on the show, or just see what we got going on for you, both literally and metaphorically, because you can see us. There's video and all that over on the social media, again, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. As we got James Holmes reporting in cold today. We've got HVAC in this building, but after fighting with the mini split we got in this studio right now, finally had to break out this little ceramic heater thing that I've had boxed up, never really needed, but yeah, it's just cutting straight through just everything today. So if I look a little bit more disheveled than usual, it's not because I'm still convalescing. I mean, I got a little bit of crud I'm still hacking up occasionally, but it's because I stepped outside at all and just got hit by that gust of wind. So that's at least part of what we got going on here in the borderland. And so hope you all staying safe, dry occasionally. I mean, I got hit by some sprinkles earlier today, as well as, nailed down, because if you're not, you might blow away. In any case, a lot of other things to talk about here today, very much in following up with what we were discussing yesterday. A lot of shakeups coming for the NMSU Aggies men's basketball, with some of the kind of expected things that we were anticipating yesterday about, this season definitely kaput, the coach definitely out, but those questions about what happens next, we got more detail on those with some insight from the Board of Regents there for the New Mexico University system, as well as who steps in now, and commentary, at least to our news partners anyway, at KFox 14 on what the team has been like and how these issues may have evolved. Then also some familiar names coming up in political circles, both in terms of seeking re-election as well as going to other departments. So technically moving out of elected territory, though it's all still can be argued to be a revolving door sometimes. So we'll talk more about that as we have Flaco Jimenez also chiming in, saying someone reported snow in the northeast part of town. Yeah, it's just been kind of one of those wild weather days where about the only constant has been that if you don't have the rocks in your pockets, you might get airborne kind of situation there. So hope y'all are staying safe and warm as can be out there, because it's just been one of those El Paso days. And I guess based on the whole groundhog thing, we extended our 2-week trial of winter that we get every year. And Monica Cervantes saying parts of snow and parts of Las Cruces as well. Just that kind of a Wednesday, hump day in a lot of ways here in the borderland. And Abel Rodriguez announcing his triumphant return to the Thunderdome in the comments over there. We do consider that for the most part over there. I mean, consensus can sometimes happen, but is quite often fleeting. And, well, if you're not ready to defend your positions and your points there, just forewarned, forearmed, we'll put it that way here. So again, we take more of those comments over there and more of this commentary, including Abel saying no snow in Central at the moment. Again, I feel like maybe it was just paranoia. I felt like I got smacked by a few in the forehead just getting in and out of vehicles earlier today. So kind of west, northwest, central, where the hell am I now? Somewhere, UTEP area. Sure, that works more or less. As we also have a job on those likes and reacts, Ed Clore, Robbie Flores, Montego Cervantes, Flaco Jimenez, and James Holmes. So a lot of stuff to delve into today. Again, another jam-packed show for you, even as we're making our way and trying to stay warm and sane throughout this week. So some of the other ones, besides what I've mentioned so far already, also including that we're going to be wanting to talk even further about today. Yeah, of course, checking in on some of the things going on with the Texas legislature, as well as questions about what the heck may or may not be going on with, I mean, sure, we've got a whole lot of construction projects, roadway things going on in and around the region, but that kind of signature slash more out there project, at least in my mind, that downtown deck, what's been going on with that? Some interesting insight from El Paso Inc., among other things going on for us today. So a lot to get into today, and we'll certainly get into a lot of these other issues that y'all are bringing up that affect us here in the borderland, because those are our two constant missions: is A, having live local talk radio here in the borderland, and B, talking about the things that affect us here, because no one else is going to have that conversation like we do, because, well, we live here, work here, play here, raise families, spend our lives, etc. And so the way these things affect us is just going to be ever so slightly different than other people end up saying that we should be thinking about it, at least the way I continue to think about it. So NMSU, Aggies, yeah, the shakeups that were very much expected. Now the chicken's coming home to roost, another way to put it there. Abel Rodriguez saying, yeah, NMSU has left the building for reals. Yeah, I mean, their season is definitely kaput. I didn't see any way out of that personally, given the accusations of hazing and potentially of a sexual nature, like just sounding like sexual assault. So some of these allegations being made anyway. And some of the immediate actions being brought up here is we have also Robbie Flores attempting to go south. Good luck getting much further south, because, okay, just had one of our coworkers come back from Austin. I mean, we got the cold weather here, sure, but they had like out their infrastructure, one of our radio stations out there, their tower collapsed because of the weight of the ice that was on it. Yeah, it's not happening right now, of course, but just saying, it could be worse. And if you find someone else further south without leaving the country, let me know. I'll be very curious. We also have Bernadette Bandicool watching over on the YouTube channel. Appreciate that. Even though you're commenting on the Facebook, you can comment on YouTube, but okay, whatever works for you, as long as it is working for you, that's the most important thing. So before we end up getting into already through most of this first segment here, NMSU men's basketball coach getting the axe fired less than 1 year into his 5-year contract. The details, of course, over there from our news partners at KFOX 14. Was a news conference a little bit earlier today, including a lot of commentary from say NMSU Chancellor Dan Arvizu, and now athletic director Mario Mosia, talking about those hazing allegations and kind of what moves forward here. Some of the headlines being their, quote, basketball program was infected. Arvizu saying specifically, our review found there's a culture of bad behavior that violate our student code of conduct, and there have been essentially other despicable acts. And among other things, the alleged victims in this case report incidents to the university's police department last week. And so now the head coach fired for cause. And so just continuing on with the whole hazing thing, saying that Arvizu continuing on in a statement sent out late Tuesday, quote, hazing has no place on our campus, and those found responsible will be held accountable for their actions, committed to the safety and well-being of all members of our campus community, as well as the integrity of our university. And so this could also be more police wrap-up investigations into November incidents going back to November 17th, and student hearings for disciplinary action are underway. Now, one of the questions that have, of course, come out of this being like, okay, what's going to be the fate of the team at this point? If we're talking about infection and deep cuts being needed here, it does appear at the moment anyway that there will be a 2023-2024 season, according to, again, the NMSU athletic director. But there is going to be a whole lot of work, probably more deep cuts and reviews, programs, personnel, etc. I would fully expect ahead of that, specifically saying, quote, there are more important issues to investigate and review before planning the next season. So, yeah, anyone, you might be able to get those men's Aggies basketball season tickets, but I might be holding off on that a little bit, just to say here. Abel Rodriguez commenting at NMSU will not be allowed to join Conference USA until this is all cleaned up. And asking the question, the shooting has gone off the radar or what? I think that is that a November incident, if I'm not mistaken there. So I think that there might even be it sounds like there could be potential criminal charges coming out of this, since there will be further like campus police reviews. So I don't think that is gone. But again, there's only time will tell in certain ways how far and how deep and how reaching this ends up being. But does look like there will be another season. What actual format that looks like, TBD, near as I can say. Anyway, let's go ahead and take that first break of this hour right now. Coming out of this hour, I mean, I'm sure we'll talk a little bit further about this, but then also some familiar names, some called shots being made when it comes to next runs for office on either side of the state border here, and as well as a familiar name that may be going into federal office, federal position anyway. Any case, let's take that first break right now. You are, of course, tuned into Talk El Paso, airing live on News Radio 690 KTSM. I'm your host, Andrew J. Polk, back after this break with more, so stay tuned for more Talk El Paso here on News Radio 690 KTSM. Don't go anywhere.
Traffic all day. News Radio 690.
No major wrecks on your El Paso freeways. I-10 eastbound at Trowbridge exit. A stalled vehicle is blocking the exit ramp. Westbound Paisano Drive at Gateway West, an injury accident. A crash with injuries northbound Dyer at Sanders. And slow traffic in the East Valley on Montana Avenue eastbound from Yarborough out to Zaragoza with 6-minute delays. Carrie Edwards, El Paso traffic.
Winning $1,000 incites all kinds of emotions.
Are you kidding? No way.
What to do with it is up to you.
We're going to Key West, that's it. What are you, nuts? We're going to Atlantic City.
Listen for your chance to win $1,000 with inflation compensation.
Listen for your chance to win $1,000 every hour from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Enter the nationwide keyword at ktsmradio.com for your chance to win. Brought to you by Sunland Park, Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, where buying a car is fun.
This report is sponsored by Indeed.com. Hiring is hard. Luckily, there's Indeed. The hiring platform makes it easy to attract, screen, and interview candidates from the same place. Just sponsor a job. You'll immediately get a short list of quality candidates on Indeed. Visit Indeed.com/credit to get started.
Let's face it, credit cards are pretty much a necessity.
New tires for the car? Here's my card.
I order takeout, here's my card. And most of us just accept the high interest rates credit cards charge as a necessary evil.
What are you going to do?
Get a low fixed-rate credit card consolidation loan from Lightstream from $5,000 to $100,000 and pay off those credit card balances. Apply online, and you could get your money as soon as the day you apply. The average credit card company charges over 19% APR. But with Lightstream, you can get a fixed rate as low as 7.99% APR with autopay and excellent credit.
Now I can pay off my high-interest credit cards and save money with a much lower rate.
Apply today at lightstream.com/radio and get an additional interest rate discount. That's lightstream.com/radio. Lightstream.com/radio.
Subject to credit approval. Rates range from 7.99% APR to 23.99% APR and include a 0.5% autopay discount. Lowest rate requires excellent credit. Terms and conditions apply, and offers are subject to change without notice. Visit lightstream.com/radio for more information.
The El Paso Community Foundation supports the causes you feel passionate about here in the borderland. Whether it's education, social services, arts and culture, the environment, health, or economic development, the El Paso Community Foundation has been promoting philanthropy and progress in our hometown region for more than 45 years. Make your mark with us. Start a fund today. For good, for El Paso, forever. Learn more at epcf.org. That's epcf.org.
Why? Why take a chance? Why risk a mistake? Why say something? We all have reasons why we choose to ignore the things that give us pause, that seem out of place, that don't feel right. The word why can either paralyze us or empower us to stand up and protect what we love. So if you see something, why do you say something?
I see safe for my family.
I see safe for my friends.
I see say for my students.
We see say for each other.
I see say because all of this matters.
We all have something worth protecting, a why that unifies this community we're all a part of. So protect your everyday. Report suspicious activity to local authorities. If you see something, say something.
It's Jesse Kelly here. I can't afford to lose 30% of my 401k or IRA again, and I'm assuming you can't either. Call Oxford Gold. Securing your IRA or 401k with real gold and silver is a portfolio protection plan, and Oxford Gold has made it easy as 1, 2, 3. One app, one call, and you pick your precious metals. That's it. You now own precious metals. Call Oxford Gold today to learn more about the 1, 2, 3 protection plan. 833-404-GOLD. 833-404-GOLD.
Only in the forest can you see this. And this. And this. But nothing beats the moment you see that.
Cool!
That's your child's eyes opening up to a world of possibilities.
I didn't know it could do that!
Because one trip to the forest can spark a world of difference.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org. Learn about forests near you and discover cool things to do when you go, like hiking, canoeing, fishing, or camping. Or create your own adventure with family and friends, and you might just see this. Your moment's out there. Find it at discovertheforest.org. That's discovertheforest.org.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council. Me, a cat, moving in with a new human. It took a little getting used to. She has these weird games she likes to play, like this giant feather. She sticks it in my face. I swat it away. She sticks it in my face. I swat it away. It's almost like she thinks I enjoy it. But seeing how much fun she gets out of it, well, I guess it makes it all worth it. Humans.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
180 over 111, and I had a stroke. I couldn't speak or walk.
This is high blood pressure. Get back on your plan. Go to loweryourhbp.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association, American Medical Association, and the Ad Council.
Olivia from Washington. Laid off and trying to keep our little kids from realizing that mommy and daddy haven't eaten in a while.
Roger from California. I'm grateful we could afford our son's surgery. I'm nervous that now we can't really afford food.
Daniel from California. Choosing whether to pay the rent or pay to fix the car to get to work doesn't leave us with much at all. Now we can't even pay for meals.
Donna from Louisiana. The storm just hit, and we went from donating to the food bank to needing it.
Keisha from South Carolina. I've been skipping meals so my 2 kids can eat, but filling up on water doesn't really work.
Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
El Paso's News Radio 690 KTSM.
Live from the KTSM AM 690 studios, it's Talk El Paso with Andrew J. Polk. To be a part of the show, follow on Facebook at facebook.com/Talk El Paso. Now here's your host, Andrew J. Polk.
Thank you all so very much for joining us here for Talk El Paso, airing live on News Radio 690 KTSM. I am your host, Andrew J. Polk. Thank you for tuning in, however you may be doing so, be it on air, online, live, streaming through the free and reliable iHeartRadio app, or joining us over on the various social media pages. We're up on these days, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch, either under Talk El Paso or Andrew J. Polk. The labels of the pages, again, if you're finding us, able to see us, apparently popping up on Yahoo, at least once recently. Anyway, what works for you, whatever is the way, your preferred way. I mean, there's different interactivity that comes with a lot of these, and we'll have the phone lines a little bit later in the show open as we usually do. But meantime, a lot of things going on affecting us here in the borderland. And okay, no one's really immune to news like this, but Flaco Jimenez Angel Rueda over on the social media reacting to the passing of Raquel Welch, who, okay, this is, I guess maybe not showing my age, but that one poster from Shawshank Redemption is the one that sticks into my mind the most. And of course, I think that's been one of the biggest images from, 1 million BC? I think it was the movie, but Angel Rueda is saying specifically, oh man, I hadn't heard about Raquel Welch, and I think that's the prayer hands emoji, assuming it's not the clapping emoji anyway. But I mean, yeah, that kind of stuff is unfortunately going on today. But in other news, and like slightly more locally one. A couple other notes of things and coverage from our news partners over there at KFOX 14 want to mention about what is going on with this entire NMSU men's basketball situation. Interesting analysis they had earlier this week about how much that value the team actually is to the university, bringing about $3 million, a little bit under $3 million, at least for the 2020-2021 season. And it's, about half of what the football program does. But honestly, that's one of the things that really kind of defines and has led to things such as the, NCAA and student union and determinations like that when it comes to the value of players, because they're cash cows for universities, which is why swift action on something like this is not too surprising. But otherwise, from the land of enchantment, a few other interesting notes, including a name that anyone who has listened to our airwaves and frankly airwaves in all the borderland region in general will probably be decently familiar with, because among other things, they were, not this most recent election cycle, but the 2 years prior, it was just constantly on the airwaves. Soji Torres Small. For anyone who feels triggered by that name and that phrase and the throwbacks to, again, the 2020 election and such, here, my apologies, but an interesting announcement being made, according to our news partners over there at KFOX 14. Soji Torres Small has been announced to be nominated as Deputy Secretary of Agriculture in the Biden administration at the U.S. Department of Agriculture, and was confirmed to be the Undersecretary for Rural Development in 2021. So just an interesting little bit of movement there and local-ish connection. And I guess for those of you wondering does this mean that we're going to have to keep hearing this name? No, I would very much kind of doubt that means that'll be coming back to this location area here, but just find that one kind of interesting to note, moving closer towards a cabinet position in this administration anyway. But then on this side of the borderland, or at least on this side of the state line anyway, Ted Cruz has announced his intent to seek re-election for the Senate in 2024. Now, of course, this has been coming out, and it's notable because, of course, he has also been filing bills on term limits at the same time, which I don't know. There's some points that have been made about this being therefore hypocritical, but I don't necessarily see it that way, because if you're going to only enforce term limits on yourself but don't expect it on everyone else, therefore they just kind of won't go into place. So I'm willing to give benefit of the doubt that if he were to pass it, he would end up stepping down, though there's some of the major questions that end up coming of this about what would impact any presidential bids, because among other things, Texas does allow a candidate to run for Senate and president at the same time. But more logistical questions, this whole milieu of a potential fight, kerfuffle, if you will, for what this potential nomination race. Yes, there are a few outstanding names, and some of them coming through Texas a little bit later this month in February, I do believe, past these winter storms, essentially, including Chris Christie and some notable snubs there as well, but we'll probably talk more as we get a little bit closer to those actual events going on, including Mike Pence, among others. So a lot more potential going on there. Just wanted to mention a couple of those, again, interesting names and political updates and situations stemming from around our area, but already due for that next break right now. Coming out of this break, we'll talk a little bit further about some more very specifically local situations, including that potential decking anyway, some interesting updates from El Paso Inc., among other things, on all of these downtown potential projects. What is the actual status, fate of them, etc., and well as more response coming into some of these recent passings. So taking that next break here already, back after this with more Talk El Paso here on News Radio 690 KTSM. Don't go anywhere.
El Paso's News Radio 690 KTSM.
Hello, I'm Erica Castillo with this KFOX 14 News Update. The U.S. Border Patrol El Paso sector welcomed their first support canine to promote resiliency among agents. U.S. Border Patrol recently launched a nationwide support canine program to help improve the well-being of the Border Patrol workforce. El Paso sector introduced Blitzen, a 6-month-old black lab, to the federal workforce where he works in coordination with a family support unit to respond to all types of critical incidents throughout the sector. The canine support program is designed to support agents, civilian employees, and their families during unfortunate situations and assist them during life challenges that affect their overall health and well-being. And we're seeing the strongest winds of the week today. This is a powerful storm system approaches from the west. The strong winds caused trash on the ground to fly around in northeast El Paso. Winds started to increase this morning with the strongest winds moving in midday. We could see gusts up to 50 to 60 miles an hour. I'm Erica Castillo with this KFOX 14 News Update.
News Radio 690. Traffic all day.
From the KFOX 14 Severe Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Brad Montgomery. Cold's going to be the big story now as we move through the overnight. The winds die down. By tomorrow morning, we're looking at lows in the lower to mid-20s. You want the coat and jacket. Definitely want to be layered up for tomorrow morning. For your Thursday, highs stuck in the 40s, so keep that coat and jacket handy all day long. Another cold one for our Friday morning. Lows back down into the teens and 20s. From the KFOX 14 Severe Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Brad Montgomery.
This report is sponsored by Jackson Hewitt. Jackson Hewitt gets you your biggest tax refund guaranteed, plus a chance to double your refund or win weekly prizes with their Double Your Refund sweepstakes. File your taxes on the double. No purchase necessary. U.S. residents 18 or older who file a 2022 federal tax return. Ends 4/2/23.
Play Cash Blitz scratch tickets today. You could win top prizes from $5,000 to $1 million. And have you heard about the $10 million Cash Blitz challenge? It's your second chance to win big. Just enter non-winning tickets at TexasLottery.com. You could win a VIP trip to an iHeartRadio event or concert, or a shot to play the $10 million Cash Blitz Challenge in Austin. Play today and enter to win at TexasLottery.com. That's TexasLottery.com.
A catalytic converter is an important component of your car's exhaust system. They can cost several $1,000s to replace. Cats can be removed in under a minute and have a high scrap value. Keep your vehicle safe from cat burglars. Park in well-lit areas. Install a protective device. Have your VIN number etched onto your catalytic converter. It's a total catastrophe. If your catalytic converter is stolen, lock it down. Learn more at lockitdowntx.com. Brought to you by the Insurance Council of Texas and the Motor Vehicle Crime Prevention Authority.
Is foot pain making your life miserable? The Good Feet Store wants to help. We invite you to visit our store at Airway Boulevard at I-10 for a free fitting and test walk and learn more about how the Good Feet Store can help you find relief. The Good Feet Store.
Life can take a turn for anyone, and if it has for you, remember that there's so much for you to turn to. We all need supportive people and healthy outlets in our lives, so we don't have to face hard times alone. Visit turntosupportstx.org for the help that's right for you. This report is sponsored by Texas Health and Human Services.
When is the best time to talk to your family about staying in touch during a disaster? When floodwaters reach your door? When wildfires are engulfing the edge of your neighborhood, or an earthquake is destroying buildings. When a tornado is tearing through town, or a hurricane strikes. Or is the best time perhaps today? During a disaster, you may not be able to stay in touch with your family or friends as easily as you think. And it's not always as simple as using your cell phone. That's why now is the time to take action. Go to ready.gov/communicate and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait. Communicate. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
The following is made possible by Dad.
Why was the basketball court all wet? Because the players kept dribbling all over it.
The dad joke. Corny, grown-worthy, but also one of the simplest ways to share a moment with your kids.
Why do you have to be careful when it's raining cats and dogs? Because you might step in a poodle.
And kids that spend more time with their dads grow up to be smarter, more successful.
Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding.
And with any luck, funnier adults.
Why didn't the skeleton go to the dance? Because he didn't have any body to go with.
Dad jokes rule. So take a moment to make a moment and give your kid a laugh. It's as easy as going to fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
That's really funny.
Text and whatever. Just don't text and drive. Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
News Radio 690 KTSM.
Live from the KTSM AM 690 studios, it's Talk El Paso with Andrew J. Polk. To be a part of the show, call 915-544-KTSM or follow on Facebook at facebook.com/Talk El Paso. Now here's your host, Andrew J. Polk.
Thank you all so very much for joining us here for Talk El Paso, airing live on News Radio 690 KTSM. I am your host, Andrew J. Polk. Thank you for tuning in, however you may be doing so, be it on air, online, live streaming through the free and reliable iHeartRadio app, or joining us over on the various social media pages. We are up on these days, facebook.com/Talk El Paso, the Talk El Paso channel over on YouTube, Twitter at Talk El Paso, or twitch.tv, Andrew J. Polk. Again, whatever works for you, whatever you're able to see the show, if you want to. If you can, if you're driving, please don't see the show. You can listen to us. We're on the radio. We don't mean to neglect that audience at all, but I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. News Radio 690 KTSM, 690 AM on your dial. If you got us there, you're good to go. And in support of that, we'll have those phone lines open a little bit later on here. So we got a lot of people tuning in, chiming in. Lloyd Panato, Trito Sack, Ed Clore, Trito Sack over on the YouTube, specifically saying that Nikki Haley, while she seems nice, has no chance as a presidential contender. Very low energy, not a shred of charisma, nothing inspiring, very mild. The way candidates are going to be described has been forever changed ever since 2016. I know that, but sometimes just when I see it out in the wild, like the way you're bringing it up here, it still catches me off guard sometimes. But as for the specific question, why do some of these people even bother running? That's a great question, and so related to what we were talking about last segment about how we have that conclave. Okay, it's actually a retreat, but it'll be kind of behind closed doors, but kind of not. A lot of, I think, politicking will be going a place at February 24th, actually taking place in Austin. We've mentioned this once before, but bears repeating in this circumstance that Nikki Haley will be one of the attendees in her capacity, or at least listed by Texas Tribune, among others, as former U.S. ambassador to the United Nations, and of course, former Vice President Mike Pence. And other notables will be U.S. Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina, Georgia Governor Brian Kemp, New Hampshire Governor Chris Sununu, and a former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie. And it's also notable, I mean, some other speakers there are going to be, say, as U.S. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy. What's very interesting is that Rick Scott, so Rick Scott is there, but Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is not listed as a attendee there. So John Browson putting it as I'll want to be the vice president. So this is really the race for second place, I guess is the way you're putting it. But again, it's notable that, again, neither Trump, the former president, nor, again, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis are being a part of it, at least as noted as of yet. But it's, again, worth noting as well that DeSantis actually set to visit Texas in early March to do more fundraising in Dallas and Harris counties. So, yeah, and Flacco is kind of agreeing with that analysis. Nikki Haley running as a VP. Potentially, that's all the stuff that could work out. And, I mean, honestly, this is kind of one of those places, as much as it's a little bit saccharine and the whole, shoot for the moon, and even if you miss, you'll land amongst the stars. Could be applied in this way, shoot for the presidency. Even if you lose, you might end up with a cabinet position, kind of, or an ambassadorship in kind of similar situations. So I'd say that's probably a part of it. And then the power and influence, a phrase kind of sticks in my head that I can't totally repeat on air, but essentially it's that in reference to our presidential process here, that imagine there's a box that if you drop the box, you lose the box, even ignore the box for too long, the world will explode. And every 4 years, we have this whole crop of people come along, say, give me the flipping box. And that's essentially how we pick president, is the people out of those groups. So, I mean, I'm not saying I totally understand the thought process that goes along with it, but a bunch of them will be in Texas a little bit later this month. So maybe I'll get a chance to ask them if you're headed out that way. Don't think I will. On a slightly lighter note, wanted to bring up an interesting story you may have been seeing going around on a local social media, that there's actually a dog that went and rang the Ring doorbell at a local area shelter, specifically the Animal Rescue League of El Paso, which the dog had come from. Bailey had gotten loose from their new owners and went where they knew, and so used the Ring doorbell. So there's some video and pictures going around of a dog in one of those kind of, very stark, not quite night vision images there. Now in the running, and as of last check, actually in third place, I believe, as Dogster Magazine's America's Favorite Pet 2023 contest. First place winner will get a $5,000 cash prize and featured in Dogster Magazine, and a portion would go to the Animal Rescue League of El Paso. Personal plug there. I have adopted at least one, but certainly considered plenty more. Done plenty of charity work with the Animal Rescue League of El Paso. So if you want to consider it, details over with elpasoinc.com. And at least one more thing I want to end up mentioning here further from El Paso Inc. They're going in depth in this recent week on the heck is going on with that potential downtown deck. Now, Flacco is saying so that the dog bark at itself. I would think so, or at the very least had seen that Ring style, the video doorbell camera, whatever the brand name they were using there, knew how to do it. So it definitely rang the doorbell itself. Anyway, yeah, elpasoinc.com. They've got the details on how you can end up voting for it. I've done it myself here, so put in my vote where my mouth is. One other thing I want to mention from them specifically is that downtown deck plaza, that idea of, so we've got the trench right now in the downtown area, right, where we got I-10 going through. Used to be neighborhoods, used to connect more or less, and it's kind of turned downtown into not quite an island, but has certainly separated it from the nearby area and the Sunset Heights directly. I mean, we got bridges over there now. And so with the expansion of that coming, the whole reimagine I-10 corridor and study and all that stuff going on, that for those of us on the west side and northwest have already been having so much fun with, as we've got lane expansions going on there. I mean, I'm not saying I don't want it to happen, but it's kind of a take your medicine sort of moment, and that'll be coming for the downtown area before too long. So some of the things that have been put out by TxDOT specifically is that another lane is going to be added through that trench area to prevent it doing from the 3 lanes as you're coming into downtown, 4 lanes into 3 lanes, and then back out to 4 as you pass through that trench area. So there's going to be some stuff happening. There's going to be, I'm just going to say it, as much as there has been focus on and some things going on with, say, Sunset Heights neighborhood associations, would be surprised if a building or two doesn't end up disappearing in this process. But the idea of what comes after that, of putting something kind of capping on top of it so that it doesn't look like, but not exactly putting it in like a tunnel either, the roadway itself. They've got some interesting imagining, some of the more recent renderings. We've had some less detailed ones in the past that we've even put on there, but specifically the Downtown Deck Plaza Foundation, done in part as part of a grant that was received, a $900,000 federal grant in end of 2021 specifically about that deck plaza. And the Paso del Norte Health Foundation is going to be hosting a series of open house meetings for input and feedback on that. You still have a chance to attend a few of them, including February 27th at the Pebble Hills Regional Command Center from 4:30 to 6:30 p.m., the West Side Regional Command Center on February 28th, and on the 17th floor of the Blue Flame Building on March 1st. All of them from, again, 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. Again, the full details there can be found over on, again, the El Paso Inc. website and their story on this. But of course, you can also find some of those links from, say, the downtowndeckplaza.org. And so it's kind of continuing apace, or at least the considerations of it, because the actual building, the roadway work is absolutely going to have to come first. And that's inching along, as road work always does in the meantime there. One final thing that we'll probably have to delve into more in later days. It hasn't come up as much recently, but it's certainly been kind of a factor going on, that's at least in El Paso, that there's been a lot of positions, particularly in the municipality sense, that are just not going filled. We had talked more over the summer, and I'm pretty sure it's going to come up again for lifeguards and the like, both in the city and the county, to be perfectly honest with you. An interesting item out there from Texas Tribune as of this week saying, quote, article titled there, "As Texas booms, local governments, especially in small towns, struggle to find workers," though they do note that it's not solely limited to smaller municipalities, even saying that in places like Austin, 16% of the jobs remain vacant as of mid-January, noted or estimated anyway, that more than 6,000 local government jobs remain vacant, according to the Texas Workforce Commission. So That'll probably have more conversation we'll need to talk about a little bit later, but we're already due for that next break right now. So let's go ahead and take that and open up those phone lines as we usually do at this point during the program. So if you want to get on the line, add your 2 cents that way. Remember to keep it clean. That number to do so is 915-544-5876, 915-544-KTSM. Back after this break with more Talk El Paso here on News Radio 690 KTSM. Stay tuned.
Traffic all day. News Radio 690.
No major wrecks on your El Paso freeways right now. It's I-10 eastbound that's slow from Trans Mountain to the Patriot with 10-minute delays. In the lower valley, Memorial Highway northbound in the loop at I-10 on-ramp, a disabled truck blocking the right lane, a disabled vehicle blocking the right shoulder, 54 southbound at McCombs, and an accident in Stanton north of Schuster at Kirby Avenue. Kerry Edwards, El Paso traffic.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's. Need weekend plans? Check out what's happening at your local Lowe's. Weekending at Lowe's gives you and your family the opportunity to make them your weekend destination with free events, workshops, and more. Visit Lowe's.com/events for this month's full lineup.
Hi guys, it's Mark. Did erectile dysfunction ruin your Valentine's Day? It's time to find the solution you need. This is a simple and painless process with no pills and no side effects. Today, Wednesday, February 15th, we're running a one-day special you won't want to miss out on. Northbrook Medical Clinic uses the most powerful form of wave therapy. This is a technology clinically shown to repair blood vessels and improve blood flow. It's backed by 60 clinical studies, including from Cambridge University. Call us now and you'll qualify for the assessment and blood flow analysis totally free. You'll also get a gift that can produce rapid and powerful results in the bedroom in minutes. You're going to love that one, guys. Trust me. This is an unprecedented offer worth hundreds of dollars, but call today and qualify totally free. Call 915-529-9000. That's 915-529-9000. Guys, put a stop to your erectile dysfunction and get your life back. Call Northbrook Medical Clinic now to qualify. This offer ends today, Wednesday, 915-529-9000.
I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I love Navage. I've told you about how your nose is the body's air filter, that Navage's powered suction will help flush out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs, and that Navage will help you breathe better. But what do other people say about Navage? Like Tara, quote, "My doctor wanted me to do saline rinses for my allergies, but I've never been able to successfully use a neti pot. Navage uses suction power, so it's foolproof. There are nights when I'll have particularly bothersome allergies. I'll bust it out, and the results are immediate. It's such a relief. It's become a lifesaver," unquote. She's one of over 100,000 online reviews praising Navage, the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million people to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Target, Rite Aid, and online. Navage, Navage, clean nose, healthy life.
Hiring can be a headache. That's why there's Indeed, the hiring platform that removes the hassle. Sponsor a job and immediately get a short list of quality candidates. And you can schedule and conduct video interviews right on their site. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Let's talk about America. Not taxes or tweets or the issues that divide us, but how incredible our country is. Whether you come home to a crowded city street or sleepy small town, everyone deserves to live in a clean, green, and thriving community. We are Keep America Beautiful, the nonprofit working with millions of people like you to end littering, improve recycling, and beautify communities. Learn more at kab.org. Together, we can do beautiful things.
Because you never hear this.
Hey, hon, I'm late. Chris, I am so pleased you missed the beginning of our meeting.
Thanks for making me wait, Dad. I talked to a lot of strangers.
Check on your commute. Stay informed. Traffic and weather all day. Or you might never hear the end of it.
Well, you were late to our anniversary dinner that one time.
Yes, how could I forget?
El Paso's News Radio 690 KTSM. El Paso's News Radio 690 KTSM.
Live from the KTSM AM 690 studios, it's Talk El Paso with Andrew J. Polk. To be a part of the show, call 915-544-KTSM or follow on Facebook at facebook.com/Talk El Paso. Now here's your host, Andrew J. Polk.
Thank you all so very much for joining us here for Talk El Paso, airing live on News Radio 690 KTSM. I'm your host, Andrew J. Polk. Thank you for tuning in, however you may be doing so, be it on air, online, live streaming through the free and reliable iHeartRadio app, or joining us over on the various social media pages. We are up on these days, Facebook.com/Talk El Paso, more or less the main one, but Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Other Facebook pages as well, under either Talk El Paso or Andrew J. Polk is where you can find us. And we, of course, do have those phone lines open now, so if you want to get on the line, full up at the moment, but I mean, yeah, we got time as we get into particularly the next hour of the program here. So that number again to call, 915-544-5876, 544-KTSM. So let's go ahead and jump right into those here. We got more comments coming in online as well. We'll keep those going, and we pop up some of them even if we're not exactly reading them. So don't worry, they'll be represented. But we do have Ben on the west side here with us right now. Ben, thanks for joining us.
Hey, how you doing, Andrew?
Doing right there. What's on your mind?
Have you heard anything, or maybe I should say the lack of anything being said about the derailment and what's happening in East Palestine, Ohio?
I'll be honest with you. That's been one of the other deep dives I've been doing lately, and why I'm among very, very, very many reasons I'm living in El Paso. I'm particularly not their area right now, but yeah, the whole precursor chemical essentially to PVC. So the vinyl chlorate, I don't think I'm quite saying that phrase right, but yeah, that whole situation, the controlled burn, and how it's causing acid rain, among other things. Yeah, it's not a good situation.
Yeah, and the lack of concern. One, I mean, J.D. Vance. I'm as everybody knows, I'm conservative. J.D. Vance, who I thought was kind of a good guy, he didn't say anything for 15 days after the derailment. It's only been the last couple of days that anything's been said. Governor DeWine, Republican, didn't say anything for the until the last couple of days. We're talking about I hate to say it, but the only thing that I've seen online now, it might be that there's been other senators and Democrats and Republicans and House members that have said things. But in the news, the things I've been trying to bring up in Google, not anybody is saying anything about this, except when J.D. Vance was talking about it, he was talking about, how awful it was that that this has occurred because of things that the Biden administration have not been doing about rail safety and everything. Not one word being said about these people that their whole lives are completely destroyed. Farmers that can no longer sell their product probably because nobody will buy it. People, their animals are dying. Their pets are projectile vomiting. They had an interview with some people, two people that looked in their early 20s that just moved to the area, and they're giving an interview, and the guy's sitting there saying, this has been their lifelong dream to have a little piece of property, and now it's all gone. And his face, as they're giving the interview, he says his face is burning, his throat is sore. He and his wife are in this area, and probably I was looking at two zombies. They weren't dead yet, but they were probably going to be dead within the next couple of years because of this. I mean, and the lack of humanity in the news reporting, not showing anything about these poor people. They were supposed to have a conference tonight and everything, a town hall, and they decided at the last minute they weren't going to have the town hall. Instead, they're just going to have a table where people can pick up brochures, I guess, to find out what's going on. They want answers. These people want answers. They want to know whether or not their lives are completely destroyed, And also, if we give $1 billion, we can give $100 billion to the people of Ukraine. These people, I mean, and you know, we should be able to, you know, make them whole, make it to where, you know, take a look at how much they had before and make them have the same or not better, sometime, you know, for the next 10 years where they can survive.
Let me just put it this way, at least what I've been looking at there, because we're getting very close to the top of the hour here. So I just want to summarize briefly here. Yeah, people may have heard of this coming by in news reports, how there was maybe this train derailment that, there's some dangerous chemicals and they were going to do a controlled burn on it in order to lessen the chance of a massive explosion, almost making it seem like it was the town of West Texas that happened within the last decade or so here in Texas. Again, it's West, Texas, the one I'm talking about there. Almost sounded similar to, except, and to correct myself, yeah, it's vinyl. Okay, it's close. Vinyl chloride. I think I may have said chlorate previously, as one of the chemicals that there was estimated to be 5 tankers full of, each carrying about like 25 to 30,000 either gallons or pounds of. Again, some of the information is a little bit sketchy or hard to get from there. And the fact that this has now been put out there, and yes, it is what ends up going into PVC, vinyl chloride being the V and C part of that. And some of the, I wouldn't be surprised if this ends up being major it should probably end up being major congressional investigations, because some of the illusions that I've heard this being described as imagine like the Deepwater Horizon of the Exxon Valdez, except it being underwater and therefore harder to see, being over land and causing, again, things like acid rain, which is a phrase that I had been very happy to think we had left behind in the 90s. But if we don't take care of the stuff around us, these other words that I want to use, this stuff can keep happening. So I tell you what, we got to take that top of the hour news break right now. I will talk a little bit more about this as we come out of this and get to more on the calls there. So stay tuned. More Talk El Paso after this break here on News Radio 690 KTSM. Back in a minute.
Traffic all day. News Radio 690.
Biggest delays, I-10 eastbound from Prospect into the Spaghetti Bowl in Reynolds with a 13-minute delay. Montana Avenue eastbound in the East Valley from Yarborough to Desert Meadows is a 10-minute backup. And road construction has traffic down to one single lane on Trans Mountain Summit Pass between Tom Mays Access Road and the 54 Gateway. Kerry Edwards, El Paso traffic.
Our iHeartRadio Podcast Awards are back. It's the biggest night of the year for podcast fans. Get ready to celebrate your favorites. Head to iHeart.com/podcast awards to check out the nominees for Podcast of the Year, Best Comedy, Crime, News, Sports, and more. Tuesday, March 14th, join us for our 2023 iHeartRadio Podcast Awards. Thank you. Audible is a proud sponsor of the Audible Audio Pioneer Award. From groundbreaking originals to best-selling audiobooks and the best and latest in podcasts, you'll find your next obsession at Audible, the home of storytelling. Try Audible free. Sign up at audible.com.
Stay informed at kcsmradio.com. News on the hour and the half. Traffic and weather all day. News Radio 690 is KTSM AM El Paso, an iHeart radio station.
NBC News Radio, I'm Brian Shook. Lawmakers want answers from the Biden administration on the toxic train derailment in Ohio. Senator J.D. Vance, along with Florida Republican Marco Rubio, sent a letter to Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg questioning the agency's oversight of the freight train system. Specifically, they want to know the balance it tries to strike between having a safe rail industry and one that's efficient. The young man who shot and killed 10 black people in Buffalo, New York last year is apologizing for what he did. Before he was sentenced, he said he did a terrible thing.
I'm very sorry for the pain I forced the victims.
He added he shot and killed people because they were black. He was then sentenced to life in prison. Michigan State University is currently holding a candlelight vigil after this week's deadly mass shooting. It's being held at a popular on-campus landmark known as The Rock to honor the victims and support the community. Mental health resources and crisis counseling are also being made available. U.S. fighter jets have intercepted Russian aircrafts off Alaska's coast. Lisa Taylor has more.
Defense officials say the incident is unrelated to the objects shot down over North America in recent days.
On Monday, North American Aerospace Defense Command used 2 F-16s to intercept 2 Russian bombers and 2 fighters after they entered the Alaska Air Defense Identification Zone. According to a statement released by NORAD, this Russian activity happens regularly and isn't seen as a threat, and described it as routine and professional. They added they were anticipating the activity and were prepared to intercept it. This is the first reported interception of 2023, but it's happened as often as 15 times a year in the past.
Moderna is promising to keep its COVID vaccine free for all consumers. The company announced Wednesday that everyone in the U.S. will have access to it regardless of their ability to pay. You're listening to the latest from NBC News Radio. Ukrainian President Zelensky says its allies must act quickly in delivering more arms and fresh supplies to its forces. William Denslow reports from Kyiv.
In a public address, President Zelensky said there's a joint commitment to defeat Russia and to do it as quickly as possible. He added that allies have confirmed that more air defense systems, tanks, ammunition and training for Ukrainian soldiers is on the way. Zelensky stressed that time is of the essence. Ukraine is asking for fighter jets, but NATO's chief Jens Stoltenberg says it's not currently a priority.
An EPA report says greenhouse gas emissions in the U.S. saw a record spike in 2021. Emissions rose over 5% in 2021 from the year before. This despite both 2020 and 2021 being below 2019 levels. A Missouri man has been freed after spending nearly 28 years behind bars for a murder he didn't commit. Tony Waterman says Lamar Johnson was sentenced to life in prison without parole after being convicted of killing Marcus Boyd, who was shot dead on Johnson's front porch in 1994.
Johnson was clearly emotional as the judge issued his ruling. His 1994 conviction relied heavily on a single eyewitness who later recanted his accusation that Johnson pulled the trigger. Johnson has always maintained his innocence and said he was not home at the time of the attack. Under state law, Johnson is not eligible to seek any compensation for his near 3-decade imprisonment, but a GoFundMe page has been set up to help him start a new life as a free man.
Make-A-Wish America is getting a massive donation from basketball great Michael Jordan just before he turned 60. The icon donated $10 million to the foundation. He said he's been a partner with Make-A-Wish for more than 3 decades. It's being described as the largest individual donation in Make-A-Wish history. Brian Shook, NBC News Radio.
Now your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website. Bills. That's bills. Enter it now.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com. Do you need new blinds or shades? Blindster.com offers custom-made blinds, shades, and shutters with free shipping and prices less than big box retailers. And right now, save 50% off any order during Blindster's President's Day sale. Hurry, sale ends February 23rd. Blindster.com.
Why do you buckle up when you get in your truck? Maybe you do it to get home safely to your loved ones, or because you take your job as a professional driver seriously, or because you want to follow the law to stay safe. Remember, it doesn't matter how long you've been driving, or even if it's a quick trip. Wear your seatbelt to stay safe on the road. Learn more at www.sharetheroadsafely.gov. That's www.sharetheroadsafely.gov. And remember to buckle up when you get behind the wheel. Paid for by FMCSA.
Rosetta Stone, where language is learned. RosettaStone.com.
Hey, El Paso, this is Ivan Ochoa, General Manager from Sunland Park Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram Fiat. Thank you, El Paso and surrounding areas, for helping us be #1 again in new Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram sales in January. As a gesture of gratitude, we're offering huge savings in all new and certified pre-owned vehicles. Interest rates as low as 0% for 72 months, and as always, exceptional trade-in offers.
Trade and upgrade for less during the President's Day sales event going on now at Sunland Park Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram Fiat. For a limited time, get 0% interest for 72 months on new 2022 quad cab Ram trucks. Super low 1.9% APR on new 2022 crew cab Ram trucks. Get $2,000 off MSRP and 1.9% APR on 2023 Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredos. Worried about your trade or credit? Don't sweat it. Our lenders will push to approve your credit, even if your credit is less than perfect. At Sunland Park Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram Fiat, where buying a car is fun. At I-10 at Sunland Park Drive or online at sunlandparkdodge.com. Estamos en tu esquina El Paso Strong. Includes factory rebate and dealer discount plus TTNL. 0 APR is $13.89 and 1.9% APR is $14.48 per thousand financed. On select vehicles with approved credit. Offers not combined.
mind.
And now for today's Roblox winter weather alert. iHeartland on Roblox has been walloped by a winter snowstorm. It is a winter wonderland. You can now ice skate at State Farm Park. In State Farm Neighborhood, you can compete in snowball fights, grab a hot cocoa and cookies, and more. There's also special events from your favorite artists and podcasters all month, along with scavenger hunts, exclusive content, and unique items. So enjoy the festive winter weather at iHeartland on Roblox. Head to iHeartRadio.com/iHeartland today.
News Radio 690 KTSM.
Live from the KTSM AM 690 studios, it's Talk El Paso with Andrew J. Polk. To be a part of the show, call 915-544-KTSM or follow on Facebook at facebook.com/Talk El Paso. Now here's your host, Andrew J. Polk.
Thank you all so very much for joining us here for Talk El Paso, airing live on News Radio 690 KTSM. I am your host, Andrew J. Polk. Thanks for tuning in, however you may be doing so, be it on air, online, live streaming through the free and reliable iHeartRadio app, or joining us over on the various social media pages. We are up on these days, facebook.com/Talk El Paso, still more or less the main one we've had the longest anyway, but also find us, again, other Facebook pages, Facebook and other ones there. Talk El Paso on YouTube, Twitter, and also twitch.tv. So, I mean, check us out there. Whatever works for you is, again, the right place for you to be as we continue our mission to talk about the things that affect us here in the borderland and a little bit beyond, because I don't want to leave this subject right now, right immediately, about the whole situation in Ohio. I mean, okay, we're a couple river systems even away from it, but this could be having widespread effects here. So we'll talk more about it in a second, but do want to thank those that are tuning and chiming in with us over on the social media, including Austin Redfern saying just joined in, didn't know Raquel Welch passed away. Yeah, according to her family and the news releases we have so far, she died this morning after a brief illness at the age of 82. Most well known for, of course, roles in Fantastic Voyage and 1 Million Years BC, which as the secondary pop culture effect of, yeah, that's the poster from, or the last poster anyway, from Shawshank Redemption. So, yeah. And Ronaldo Rivera also asking, what about a deck? Yeah, we were talking last segments, or previous segments anyway, about the downtown deck. So we got all of this building coming through and all the roadway work happening right here in the borderland on I-10 specifically. Basically, the shorthand version is all that work they've been doing on like the border highway, Loop 375, all those ramps and everything. Yeah, that's all been the setup for them to redo I-10 itself, because it's had like 60 coming up on 70 years of deferred maintenance where they haven't really like drilled down into it literally and metaphorically. So that's coming. They're starting on the northwest side, New Mexico state line, but they're going to be working their way through town. And so there's the strong potential, it seems like increasingly getting there, of adding more lanes in the downtown trench, like one lane either direction, and the potential of putting again, you're not really making it a tunnel, but putting something on top of that in between the bridges we have currently is a possibility. So we were talking about the El Paso Wink kind of update on that more recently. Rick Reyes saying, since the Miners lost the Aggies on November 30th and the Aggie season's over, can the Miners have W in their win column? We're getting into like bookmaking stuff here, so I don't have a good answer for you there, but at the very least, all those games will probably get rescheduled, so I don't think they're like forfeits or anything, but well, the schedule will definitely be changing for any of their opponents, I will say that. But again, I don't want to leave this subject real quick of that entire situation, the train derailment and the fire controlled burn, quote unquote, coming out of that situation in Ohio, because two major things besides what was brought up by the caller at the end of last segment is keeping in mind here for me that, I mean, yeah, there was the, again, let me get the correct phrase so I'm not saying it wrong, vinyl chloride, which does end up going into PVC among other things, but if I remember the stuff I've been reading up on this correctly enough, that it actually boils at like 8 degrees Fahrenheit. So it is a gas otherwise at room temperature, and that's why it is so incredibly volatile and spread about. So two major, and also there was in some of these other rail cars, there's been more being uncovered that there may have been other incredibly toxic things, including phosgene gas, which among other things was used as a chemical weapon during World War I. Just real fun, cuddly stuff. But two other kind of little downstream and upstream effects come from this. The fact that the Ohio River Valley, an incredibly important one, then feeds into the Mississippi, of which is only a slightly important waterway, both in terms of transport and even like fishing, recreation, among other things, for the good half of this country. There's a whole thing we say about, east or west of the Mississippi, just ever so slightly an important landmark, but also I've been seeing some like NOAA surveys of the actual particle releases coming out of this, engulfing or potentially at certain points, say of like 8th of February, so last week, closer to the actual release here, could have been seen as covering decent parts of like New York, Pennsylvania, up into like, say, portions of the Canadian peninsula there. So not a good situation. And the investigation into this and holding those accountable seriously needs to be, I mean, I'm not surprised that the companies and anyone financially involved at the moment is trying to downplay this, because that's the playbook. But if there isn't a full response and that's allowed to stand, you have several other issues. And Ronaldo Rivera responded to that, the idea of the downtown deck, saying placing the proposed park over I-10 is nonsense. It's trap for pollution. And by the way, it's not free money, as it's been discussed. Feds and state collect taxes, not to grow money on trees. Yeah, absolutely true. I mean, anyone say, oh, it's just, it's a grant. It's from the federal government. Okay, cool. Where'd the money come from? Yeah, no free lunch kind of mentality. I get you entirely. So we, of course, have those phone lines open right now. And again, that number to call is 915-544-5876, 544-KTSM. And we have a couple calls in line here, so let's dive right into that. We do have Barbara on the west side here with us right now. Barbara, thanks for joining us.
Hi, Andrew. Thank you for taking my call.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to address Frankie from yesterday to see if I could make him a little happy today. Not that I'm going to accomplish that. But anyway,
Okay.
First thing, I guess he should really find another adjective for me, because the puddle of the business bit me. But anyway, he says I call in, I should blah, blah, blah about immigration. And so I thought, okay, let me see what I can do here. So This is what I have to say to Frankie. 25 months ago, I wouldn't have been calling about it, immigration or our border. I wouldn't have been calling about the inflation, because who's going to complain about a great economy? I mean, I wouldn't have been calling that and saying that 74% of the country believes that we're going in the wrong direction because we had a booming economy. And I wouldn't have been calling in and saying that the first three things on people's minds now are inflation, immigration, and border security. So facts matter. I mean, I couldn't call in and say, hey, guys, I sold my tank of gas for $1.58 today per gallon. Or, hey, you know what? I went out and bought eggs for 98 cents a dozen. Because we had a booming economy. We had a businessman running the country, somebody who understood inflation in our economy. So, Frankie, I'm sorry about that, but I did find something that might cheer you up today. I was reading this morning, and you recall, I'm sure everybody recalls, that when President Trump had the auto manufacturers to the White House, he invited everybody. He did not exclude anybody at the White House. The Biden administration had the auto industry there, but they excluded Elon Musk, Tesla. I like Elon Musk. I just like his energy and his the way he just pushes forward on things and how he is so determined. But he was invited this time. They had a meeting, and he participated via phone. And what he has agreed to do is and this is on the superchargers that he has, the charge stations throughout the United States. He's got 1,700 of them. He has agreed to let every other auto manufacturer use the chargers with an adapter. So that is good for the auto industry. He's way ahead of the other electric vehicles. And one of the reasons they're doing it is by 2024, they want all the components for those chargers to be manufactured in the United States. So here we have them working together. So I think that's fantastic that he's giving them access through adapters to use as chargers. And then another thing that came out of this is, remember when Macron was here and he was told Biden that the Inflation Reduction Act was really hurting them because they couldn't, I guess they thought we were subsidizing the electric vehicles and they couldn't compete. So President Biden said, okay, well, we're not going to do anything that's going to harm our trade with our allies. So what the administration has decided to do is that Japan, the European Union, and the UK and the USA are going to draw up trade agreements. The US is going to work with them. They're forming what's called a critical minerals club, because under the Inflation Reduction Act, all these minerals starting at 40% have to be produced here in the United States, and they're gradually going to increase that percentage to 80% by 2026. So they're forming this critical minerals club, and they will be going to other countries, which will give them an opportunity to go to Africa, they said, to look at the critical minerals.
Mm-hmm.
But I was not aware that Ukraine has a large reserve of critical minerals and rare earth metals. So they think that Ukraine can be a superpower, and we will have less reliance on China and Russia. So all these good things are coming out of the partnership that, Tesla is going to be a part of now. So I think that that's a positive path forward on electric vehicles if we're supposed to, convert to the electric vehicle by 2050 or whatever it is. So I think that should make Frankie a little happy that this is good news, and I'm reporting it. And I'm not a Debbie Downer, but if there were more good news to report, just like this one this morning that I read about Tesla, I would be on the airwaves, Frankie, trying to make your day. So the only request I have of Frankie is please find another adjective for me, because befuddled isn't who I am. Anyway, I just thought I'd call on a lighter note today.
Fair enough here. I mean, yeah, it's interesting note to be made about Ukraine. I've seen some of that brought up, that it's got some of the lithium reserves, among other things, though. I've brought it up a little bit more recently, and we're getting a little bit out of pocket here, but it's an interesting one, and one that will be increasingly important, including China's major efforts, particularly in the Republic of the Congo, as they have been trying to kind of lock up the supply of cobalt, which is another one that gets discussed there. So if there isn't more essentially multinational try to counter those kind of efforts, it's going to probably be, well, it's probably not going to be a good rest of the century, to be honest with you, with this major investment, because, I mean, sure, there's advantages, disadvantages between both, fossil fuels and electric vehicles. But once you start moving in the direction of one or the other, if you have to suddenly switch direction because there isn't the support they're necessary for it, that's when real problems will start going into. So if, as a society, we've made a decision that we want to make a transition, which, I mean, there's, again, argument to be had there. But if it suddenly gets stymied and, frankly, ends up in some of the trade warfare of the rest of this century, that's when the biggest problems would honestly kind of come up.
Well, I don't think that we can fully transition now or ever. To me, that's just impossible. And we heard today that the president is going to release another, 26 million barrels of from a strategic petroleum reserve. So there's always going to be a need for that. So I don't think that the whole United States can ever transition. But this is good news for those who can't afford it.
I mean,
and that they're doing it in a slower, timely manner, not a rapid transition.
I mean, yeah, that would be one of the questions about how this would actually be performed, and other questions about, how can the grid support it? I mean, what are the estimates about needing 50,000 charging stations? Was it across the U.S. or it may have just been California, among other things? So logistical questions abound here, but at least making steps towards it. Yeah, if you're saying that this is our goal and actually plotting out how to get there would be kind of important in my mind.
Well, he's going to start in Texas and California. So, I just say go slow and go smart.
Fair enough here. All right. Well, thanks for the point in the call. Do appreciate it.
Thank you, Andrew.
And with that, we'll go ahead and take that next break right now. If you want to get on the line to add your 2 cents, that number to do so is 915-544-5876, 544 KTSM. Back after this break with more Talk El Paso here on News Radio 690 KTSM. Stay tuned.
Traffic all day. News Radio 690.
Slow traffic on the 10 eastbound from the Franklin downtown exits to Reynolds with 8-minute delays. I-10 westbound at Yarborough, a disabled Jeep is blocking the right shoulder. An accident reported eastbound Edgemere at Rich Beam. And road construction has the left lane closed on eastbound Americas Avenue from Alameda to North Loop Drive. Carrie Edwards, El Paso traffic.
Winning $1,000 incites all kinds of emotions.
Are you kidding? No way.
What to do with it is up to you.
We're going to Key West. That's it. What are you, nuts? We're going to Atlantic City.
Listen for your chance to win $1,000 with inflation compensation.
Listen for your chance to win $1,000 every hour from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Enter the nationwide keyword at ktsmradio.com for your chance to win. Brought to you by Sunland Park, Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, where buying a car is fun.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com. Do you need new blinds or shades? Blindster.com offers custom-made blinds, shades, and shutters with free shipping and prices less than big box retailers. And right now, save 50% off any order during Blindster's President's Day sale. Hurry, sale ends February 23rd. Blindster.com.
Play Cash Blitz scratch tickets today. You could win top prizes from $5,000 to $1 million. And have you heard about the $10 million Cash Blitz challenge? It's your second chance to win big. Just enter non-winning tickets at TexasLottery.com. You could win a VIP trip to an iHeartRadio event or concert or a shot to play the $10 million Cash Blitz Challenge in Austin. Play today and enter to win at TexasLottery.com. That's TexasLottery.com. The El Paso Community Foundation supports the causes you feel passionate about here in the borderland, whether it's education, social services, arts and culture, the environment, health, or economic development. The El Paso Community Foundation has been promoting philanthropy and progress in our hometown region for more than 45 years. Make your mark with us. Start a fund today. For good, for El Paso, forever. Learn more at epcf.org. That's epcf.org.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T.
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The patented key ingredient is something called Testofen, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text HUNK to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text HUNK to 42424. That's HUNK to 42424.
News Radio 690 KTSM El Paso.
Live from the KTSM AM 690 studios, it's Talk El Paso with Andrew J. Polk. To be a part of the show, call 915-544-KTSM or follow on Facebook at facebook.com/Talk El Paso. Now here's your host, Andrew J. Polk.
Thank you all so very much for joining us here for Talk El Paso, airing live on News Radio 690 KTSM. We're going to get back to the comments and the phone calls here shortly, but caller let me know, and I was starting to see indications, including a tweet out from the El Paso Police Department right now. So I'm going to read verbatim the tweet from at EP Police right now, which is the verified Twitter account for the El Paso Police Department. Police, quote, police are responding to shots fired in the food court of Cielo Vista Mall. Scene still active. Avoid the area. I'm going to repeat that one more time. Police are responding to shots fired in the food court of the Cielo Vista Mall. Scene still active. Avoid the area. So did have a caller over the break as well bring up that they were seeing themselves, including a large police response, and including police with rifles and things responding to the area. So one more time, just clear the music there. I'm going to repeat the tweet as about 3 minutes ago from the El Paso Police Department. Police are responding to shots fired in the food court of Cielo Vista Mall. Scene still active. Avoid the area. So just want to make sure that that information is put out there. So the Cielo Vista Mall, please do not go to that area if you're able to right now. There is. We've had people telling us about a strong police presence going on in that area at the moment, at the very least. So please avoid that area if at all possible. And if you are in the area, please seek shelter and get away as much as possible. So that's what's going on as of this moment. We'll try to get more information for you, but this is one of those times when I feel actually incredibly frustrating to be kind of at a desk like this, because my my impulse is to go out there and try to report on it for y'all, but well, we'll have to trust our news partners at KFOX 14 to bring more information to us as soon as we can. So again, avoid the Cielo Vista Mall area at this point. At the very least, what the police is saying is that there is a police response in the area. We're hearing that from other listeners and viewers as well. So again, avoid the Cielo Vista area right now. Going on here, got some updates coming in from our news partners at KFOX 14. They are going to be covering this as much as we can, so we'll see what we can bring you throughout the rest of the hour here on the program right now. Anyway, let's go ahead and I know we got phone calls and other comments coming in right now. Debaser Gardner among one of them that was asking about that. So yeah, it's shooting at the food court at the Cielo Vista Mall is what we are learning about right now. Again, that being confirmed by the El Paso Police Department of shots fired in the food court area. So we'll try to bring you as much as we can as soon as we can on that, but definitely do not go to that area at this point at this time. Anyway, let's go ahead and I know we got other phone calls in the line here, and this is not the call, the situation that you all are calling into, but let's get at least if you're on the line, if you still want to comment here, again, that number to do so is 915-544-5876, 915-544-KTSM. We do have Frankie and Missy on the line with us here right now. Frankie, thanks for joining us.
Did you say frustrating? Is that the word you use? That is the understatement of the century. Now you just got another stupid shooting because some nut job is mad because he didn't get the right order of French fries. And I want to provide an addendum on what I said yesterday about all this stupid gun stuff in the United States of America. This is crazy. I mean, the whole United States, normal people I'm talking about, need to sit down and seriously get together and knock this nonsense off. MSU, 5 people killed, the Buffalo thing. This guy goes to jail with no parole and stuff. Some young little punk kid. He just ruined his life because of some stupid nonsense, politically driven. I mean, people really, really need to get together and get this thing nailed down, Andrew, and everybody else out there in the Southwest border region, or it's going to keep on going on and on and on and on. And that's my opening rant.
Understandable. Again, we're still looking to get more information on that. The major part that we have at the moment coming from El Paso Police Department, their actual Twitter account so far. And so we'll be trying to get into, I call it frustrating in the personal sense here, not in the kind of response and what should be happening to it. I certainly hope for speed and safety when it comes to our first responders and our law enforcement dealing with this situation still unfolding at this moment as far as we are aware. But just kind of from a personal note for me, it's frustrating to not be able to go out there right now and see what we got for you. We'll be trusting our news partners at KFOX 14 to bring us more throughout this hour here. So still looking to get any more information going on this as soon as we can.
Well, okay, that's good. I mean, right now, listening to you on the radio and your partners at KFOX doing the best they can to find out what's going on. Well, it's going to come down to the same thing. Some nut job, some mentally deranged nut job is mad about something, and he just can't operate in a functional sense, a psychologically functional sense. By the way, where's that Tony guy, our psychiatrist, our local radio psychiatrist? What the heck happened to him? Is he in some institution or something? He went so far off the rail, he's so crazy himself or something? What happened here? But this is nonsense. This gun stuff has got to stop. This is crazy. That's my whole rant for the day.
Fair enough. Understandable. Again, we're still looking to get more information on what's going on there. I'm getting a lot of different reports coming in through social media, trying to kind of sort through at the moment. All I can say is that one of the things that often happens in these situations, there's going to be a lot of inaccuracies maybe coming out initially. Oftentimes there's a lot of jumble of information, so I don't know if we're going to have anything concrete for y'all by the end of this program here today, but tell you what, I got some more information coming in. I'm going to try to sort through right now, so I appreciate the point in the call, Frankie. You have a good one.
All right, take care. God bless the poor folks that got shot or killed or injured. That's very sad.
Absolutely. So tell you what, let's go ahead and take that next break right now. We're going to come back, see if we've got anything more for you here, try to sort through some more of the information that is coming out so far. So stay tuned. More Talk El Paso after this break here on News Radio 690 KTSM.
El Paso's News Radio 690 KTSM.
Hello, I'm Erica Castillo with this KFOX 14 News Update. The U.S. Border Patrol El Paso sector welcomed their first support canine to promote resiliency among agents. U.S. Border Patrol recently launched a nationwide support canine program to help improve the well-being of the Border Patrol workforce. El Paso sector introduced Blitzen, a 6-month-old black lab, to the federal workforce where he works in coordination with a family support unit to respond to all types of critical incidents throughout the sector. The canine support program is designed to support agents, civilian employees, and their families during unfortunate situations and assist them during life challenges that affect their overall health and well-being. And we're seeing the strongest winds of the week today. This is a powerful storm system approaches from the west. The strong winds caused trash on the ground to fly around in northeast El Paso. Winds started to increase this morning with the strongest winds moving in midday. We could see gusts up to 50 to 60 miles an hour. I'm Erica Castillo with this KFOX 14 News Update.
News Radio 690. Traffic all day.
Gateway West at the Airway Boulevard on-ramp, an injury accident reported. I-10 eastbound slow through the downtown area over to Trowbridge with a 12-minute delay. Montana Avenue eastbound from Joe Battle out to Zaragoza is a 5-minute backup. And there's an accident reported eastbound Edgemere at Rich Beam. Carrie Edwards, El Paso traffic.
From the KFOX 14 Severe Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Brad Montgomery. Cold going to be the big story now as we move through the overnight. The winds die down. By tomorrow morning, we're looking at lows in the lower to mid-20s. You want the coat and jacket. Definitely want to be layered up for tomorrow morning. For your Thursday, highs stuck in the 40s, so keep that coat and jacket handy all day long. Another cold one for our Friday morning, lows back down into the teens and 20s. From the KFOX 14 Severe Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Brad Montgomery.
This report is sponsored by Texas Health and Human Services. Life can take a turn for anyone, and if it has for you, remember that there's so much for you to turn to. We all need supportive people and healthy outlets in our lives, so we don't have to face hard times alone. Visit turntosupportstx.org for the help that's right for you.
A catalytic converter is an important component of your car's exhaust system. They can cost several $1,000s to replace. Cats can be removed in under a minute and have a high scrap value. Keep your vehicle safe from cat burglars. Park in well-lit areas. Install a protective device. Have your VIN number etched onto your catalytic converter. It's a total catastrophe. If your catalytic converter is stolen, lock it down. Learn more at lockitdowntx.com. Brought to you by the Insurance Council of Texas and the Motor Vehicle Crime Prevention Authority.
For more than 20 years, the Window Depot has provided the best price and the biggest inventory on in-stock vinyl windows. And now, the Window Depot is more than a window store, offering homeowners and contractors a one-stop warehouse offering interior and exterior doors, granite quartz countertops, in-stock cabinetry, and skylights to finish your project. Their team of professionals will help with everything from free kitchen design to custom orders from leading manufacturers like Milgard and Geldwin. Order online or find a location near you at thewindowdepot.com.
Struggling with CPAP? Now there's Inspire, the only FDA-approved obstructive sleep apnea treatment that works inside the body to treat the root cause of sleep apnea with just the click of a button. No mask, no hose, just sleep. Visit InspireSleep.com to learn more.
Do you need new blinds or shades? Blindster.com offers custom-made blinds, shades, and shutters with free shipping and prices less than big box retailers. And right now, save 50% off any order during Blindster's President's Day sale. Hurry, sale ends February 23rd. Blindster.com. This report is sponsored by Blindster.com.
Why? Why take a chance? Why risk a mistake? Why say something? We all have reasons why we choose to ignore the things that give us pause, that seem out of place, that don't feel right. The word why can either paralyze us or empower us to stand up and protect what we love. So if you see something, why do you say something?
I see safe for my family.
I see safe for my friends.
I see say for my students.
We see say for each other.
I see say because all of this matters.
We all have something worth protecting, a why that unifies this community we're all a part of. So protect your everyday. Report suspicious activity to local authorities. If you see something, say something.
At St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, we're fighting against childhood cancer every day. At the heart of this battle are our donors.
Most of us want to make some type of difference in the lives of others. St. Jude does miraculous work.
The fact that no one has to pay, it's a place where everyone is treated as an equal.
Everybody is welcome here, and it doesn't matter your religion or what part of the world you're from. All that is taken away. It just gives you some hope.
It's just a nice feeling to put your energy into something that really does genuinely make a difference in a child's life.
There's just no greater gift. If we have the ability to help, then we have a responsibility to help.
Finding cures, saving children. St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Find out how you can help at stjude.org.
There won't be much substance on your news feed until you add us. Just like us or click on the link at kcsmradio.com. El Paso's News Radio 690 KTSM.
Live from the KTSM AM 690 studios, it's Talk El Paso with Andrew J. Polk. To be a part of the show, call 915-544-KTSM or follow on Facebook at facebook.com/Talk El Paso. Now here's your host, Andrew J. Polk.
Thank you all so very much for joining us here for Talk El Paso, airing live on News Radio 690 KTSM. I am your host, Andrew J. Polk. Thank you for tuning in, however you may be doing so, all the very many ways we are out there and have the information available on us here. Again, right now, developing at this moment is a police response to the Cielo Vista area, the Cielo Vista food court specifically. Some of the latest information out from our news partners at KFOX 14. They have their traffic cameras showing a large police response going on in the area with, I can just say, looking at it myself, order of dozens of vehicles responding it to their, specifically the traffic camera. They are looking at the one in the Westmoreland area. So this still developing as of this exact moment. Again, people being strongly encouraged to avoid the area. Do not go to that area if at all possible. Yeah, the I-10 in Westmoreland showing and more emergency vehicles arriving as of this point, including ambulances and such. But yeah, it's a little bit hard to see what exactly is going on there right now, but some of our other viewers and commentators mentioning right now, Richard Lewis saying, it was just downtown. Even there, many police and troopers blitzing out of there, heading east. And again, at least one other caller calling in off air, saying that they had seen quite the police response going on in that area. So we are still looking for more details on what's going on there, because all we know at this moment is that there is a shooting that has happened at this area. The police saying to our news partners there that a suspect is still outstanding. So again, do not go, if at all possible, to the Cielo Vista Mall, particularly the food court area, but that area in general, as there is quite a lot of police response, law enforcement response happening in that area at this point and time. So we're going to be trying to bring you more on this as soon as we can here, but again, details are pretty sparse right now. Albert Banda saying that there's some video. Again, there's going to be a lot of probably information percolating throughout social media, and we're going to try to parse through it as best we can through the end of this hour. But there is more information to be coming here, and we're going to try to only bring you what we can at least confirm or find to be true there, because it can often be a lot of hyperbole going into situations like this. So we'll be checking for more on this as much as we can. But again, we can definitely tell you right now with certainty that in the area, again, specifically the traffic cameras from our news partners there at KFOX 14, the I-10 and Westmoreland area, mile marker 25.8 is very, I mean, there is still traffic going on in the area. I'm hearing from some other people that I know and trust saying that it is a crazy situation, to be said for sure, but still trying to get more distinct details. Again, just to put it further out there, Just in case anyone is just joining us, the El Paso Police Department tweeting as of 5:19 p.m. that police are responding to shots fired in the food court of Cielo Vista Mall. Scene still active. Avoid the area. And that's still the latest main communication that has been put out from them. And so we're going to give at least one more break here. We'll see if we can come back with the calls here. If not, as this is a breaking news situation, not something we usually delve into on this program, but we are going to try and bring you as much information and as much important community information as possible. So back after this break with more Talk El Paso here on News Radio 690 KTSM.
Traffic all day. News Radio 690.
Gateway West at the Airway Boulevard on-ramp, an injury accident reported. I-10 eastbound slow through the downtown area over to Trowbridge with a 12-minute delay. Montana Avenue eastbound from Joe Battle out to Zaragoza is a 5-minute backup. And there's an accident reported eastbound Edgemere at Rich Beam. Kerry Edwards, El Paso traffic.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com. Do you need new blinds or shades? Blindster.com offers custom-made blinds, shades, and shutters with free shipping and prices less than big box retailers. And right now, save 50% off any order during Blindster's President's Day sale. Hurry, sale ends February 23rd. Blindster.com.
Hi guys, it's Mark. Did erectile dysfunction ruin your Valentine's Day? It's time to find the solution you need. This is a simple and painless process with no pills and no side effects. Today, Wednesday, February 15th, we're running a one-day special you won't want to miss out on. Northbrook Medical Clinic uses the most powerful form of wave therapy. This is a technology clinically shown to repair blood vessels and improve blood flow. It's backed by 60 clinical studies, including from Cambridge University. Call us now and you'll qualify for the assessment and blood flow analysis totally free. You'll also get a gift that can produce rapid and powerful results in the bedroom in minutes. You're going to love that one, guys. Trust me. This is an unprecedented offer worth hundreds of dollars, but call today and qualify totally free. Call 915-529-9000. That's 915-529-9000. Guys, put a stop to your erectile dysfunction and get your life back. Call Northbrook Medical Clinic now to qualify. This offer ends today, Wednesday, 915-529-9000.
My doctor told me my blood pressure is borderline. I figured I could worry about it or do something about it. So I took control with Garlic Healthy Blood Pressure Formula. It works safely and naturally to help maintain healthy blood pressure with a custom blend of garlic, vitamins, and minerals. And it's odor-free. I'm taking charge with Garlic Healthy Blood Pressure Formula.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. The term natural references only the garlic in the product. Use as directed.
How was your drive to school?
Let me tell you, I had to get my iced coffee first. I just can't seem to put it down. My favorite rapper just announced a tour. My phone was buzzing like crazy. I'm so excited. I had to text all my friends right then to talk about it. Then someone started calling me and...
Let's try that again.
I turned my phone off right away. I never drive distracted.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
KTSM AM El Paso is News Radio 690, an iHeart radio station.
Hey, hon, what you doing with your phone?
Do flowers have best friends? I don't know.
Hey, look.
Whoa.
Some answers can only be found in nature. Discover the unsearchable. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a trail near you. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Next Thursday, you will be caught in an extreme flash flood.
Disasters don't plan ahead, but you can. Talk to your loved ones about making an emergency plan. Get started today at ready.gov/plan. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
The following is made possible by Dad.
Why was the basketball court all wet? Because the players kept dribbling all over it.
The dad joke. Corny, groan-worthy, but also one of the simplest ways to share a moment with your kids.
Why do you have to be careful when it's raining cats and dogs? Because you might step in a poodle.
And kids that spend more time with their dads grow up to be smarter, more successful.
Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding.
And with any luck, funnier adults.
Why didn't the skeleton go to the dance? Because he didn't have anybody to go with.
Dad jokes rule. So take a moment to make a moment and give your kid a laugh. It's as easy as going to fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
That's really funny.
News Radio 690 KTSM.
Live from the KTSM AM 690 studios, it's Talk El Paso with Andrew J. Polk. To be a part of the show, follow on Facebook at facebook.com/Talk El Paso. Now here's your host, Andrew J. Polk.
Thank you all so very much for joining us here for Talk El Paso, airing live on News Radio 690 KTSM. I am your host, Andrew J. Polk. Thank you for tuning in, however you may be doing so. Again, still trying to gather more information as we are still in the response phases of what has been, again, tweeted out by El Paso police at 5:19 p.m. today. Police are responding to shots fired in the food court of Cielo Vista Mall. Scene still active. Avoid the area. No updates to that from the official El Paso police account as of yet. Some of the information coming out from our news partners at KFOX 14 that there is a person being being sought now after that shooting here. The last that there was actually the suspect still outstanding, and the right lane on Gateway West at Hawkins now closed is another update of it. So everyone being asked to avoid this area if at all possible. Again, we're still trying to gather information, find out what is going on in this situation. I'm sure we'll be getting more information from our news partners at KFOX 14 as much as possible. Again, some of the scenes that can be seen immediately right now still going on over at the, I-10 Westmoreland exit, showing quite a large law enforcement and emergency vehicle response. So even just for the logistics of it, and more appearing on the scene there as well. So that's some of the scenes that I'm looking at right now, and I'm sure this will be a portion of what we'll be talking about tomorrow on the program as more details become available. But again, anywhere near the Cielo Vista area, it looks like they may be shutting down even more parts of that area. But I'm looking at, again, the I-10 and Westmoreland area, the traffic cameras from our news partners at KFOX 14, and still not clear. I'm seeing unconfirmed things I don't want to comment on before I know for sure here about there being injuries. There's probably going to be a lot of that going around on social media. Just want to further stress that at this point in time. But the latest information that we do have is that this is an active scene, and that suspect is still outstanding. So some of the videos that can be seen, including of the traffic situation in and around that area from our news partners at KFOX 14, definitely pointing to this being an active scene at this exact moment, and meaning that this is probably going to be going on for a while longer. Past experiences, unfortunately, any guide in this situation, this scene will probably be locked down in all the ways that matter for the rest of this day, if not for frankly longer there. So best advice I can give for anyone that is either in the area is to stay in place if you are safe and able to stay safe. If you have anyone in that area, try to reach out to them, but do not go immediately to the scene, because there is quite a lot of activity, again, even just from the live cameras that we do have access to. Looking at it there, don't want to be in the way or getting in the place of law enforcement. That would be incredibly counterproductive at this time and at this point, as we're, again, still looking to get more information about this and find out the situation there. So I think we're going to get one more break in right now. We're going to try to gather a little bit more for you. Again, for anyone that is just joining us, just tuning in, situation is that the El Paso Police Department has said that they're responding to a shots fired in the food court area of Cielo Vista Mall, and the scene is still active. I mean, that was as of about half an hour ago, but again, looking at the information that we have and the traffic cameras available of the area, is very much still the case of an active scene and an active response going on there. Again, the Cielo Vista area, they do have lanes that are shut down whenever it comes to actually being on I-10. Again, the actual right lane on Gateway West at Hawkins is closed, so on the gateway right there. So avoid the area. Do not go. Again, the latest information that a suspect is being sought after this. So still developing right now. We're going to take another quick break here in just a moment as we try to, get closer to closing out the show. Not quite how we expected this show to progress, but breaking news situations have not often, if at all, happened on this program, but we'll do our best to do that. So back after this next break here on News Radio 690 KTSM.
We first opened about 10 years ago. We were small, just a few of us, but it was exciting. I always dreamt of having my own business. It was kind of slow at first, but things started picking up. We had big plans, but in our wildest dreams, we never thought we'd have this much work. Yeah, with so many businesses caught off guard by the storm, Reed Waste Management has never been busier.
What will become of your business after a disaster? Nearly 2/3 of businesses aren't prepared for an emergency, and 40% of businesses that experience a disaster never recover. Make an emergency plan now, before it's too late. For a free online tool that helps you develop an emergency plan to keep your business up and running should disaster strike, visit ready.gov/business. Brought to you by the Federal Emergency Management Agency, the American Red Cross, and the Ad Council.
We parents hear our kids say lots of things that can get us pretty worked up. Things like,
"Look, Mom, no hands."
and
Ouch, that hurts.
look, you'll never completely stop worrying about your kids. But you can breathe a little easier with free or low-cost health insurance through Medicaid and CHIP programs in your state. The truth is, they're covering more kids and teens than ever before. So even if you've applied in the past, even if you don't qualify, your kids can now be eligible for regular doctor and dentist visits, prescriptions, and more. So the next time you hear,
Ooh, I don't feel so good.
relax, your kids can be covered.
Get us kids covered today. Families of 4 earning up to $49,200 a year or more may qualify. Just go to insurekidsnow.gov or call 1-877-KIDS-NOW. That's 1-877-543-7669. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
This message is for all of you sitting in the passenger seat. And apologies if it gets a little uncomfortable, but how does it feel to be at the mercy of someone who thinks a random text is more important than your life? Someone who takes their eyes off the road while speeding along in a 3-ton hunk of steel. Freaky, right? Well, why not just ask them to stop? Or better yet, volunteer to text for them. It might be a little awkward, but believe me, you'll live.
Learn more at stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
Sweetie, want some fruit? You have to use the right tool for the job. A power drill is the wrong tool to slice fruit. Just like an antibiotic is the wrong tool to treat viruses, including colds and flu. Antibiotics are only needed for certain bacterial infections. When they aren't needed, antibiotics won't help you, and the side effects could still hurt you. Ask your healthcare professional when an antibiotic is the right tool and when it's not. Visit cdc.gov/antibiotic-use.
Welcome back here to Talk El Paso, airing live on News Radio 690 KTSM. I am your host, Andrew J. Polk, getting closer to finish out the show here, but we're still staying on top of the breaking news situation, showing and some of the live updates from our news partners there at KFOX 14, showing quite the large, again, law enforcement and emergency responder police presence out there at the Cielo Vista Mall, particularly near the food court area. Their camera crews showing that essentially the area is being cleared. Austin Redfern commenting over on our social media that everything should be cleared, all employees and customers home. That appears to be at least part of the situation. Parking lots being cleared, but showing El Paso police, Texas DPS, state troopers, unmarked vehicles, a variety of different kinds here, but with emergency vehicle lights on them, surrounding primarily the area of the actual main part of Cielo Vista Mall, but also spread throughout the rest of the complex there. So anywhere near this area is probably we're going to have to ending up leaving it here for today because we are running out of time for our broadcast. But again, for anyone that is just joining us, El Paso police tweeting out about coming up on 40 minutes ago that police are responding to shots fired in the food court area of Cielo Vista Mall. Scene still active. Avoid the area. That still very much holds true at this point in time. And so no official word on anything such as injuries, etc. at this point. There are a lot of things that I am seeing even at this moment in time going around on social media and other related postings, take them with, updated posting actually from the El Paso Police Department saying that mall scene is still active. Please avoid the area. Multiple agencies responding to the area. So that is as of the police department from right before this last break, actually. So that is still the situation. And most of the response appearing to be focused on the Cielo Vista Mall facility itself, but the entire complex, all the retail and movie theater stores in that area very much still under heavy police presence. So would definitely and absolutely say to avoid the area. And of course, check with our news partners at KFOX 14. We'll be posting some things on our social media as it becomes available, as it becomes clearer. But at this moment, at this point in time, all we can say for certain is that a suspect is being sought in this, and that, again, it's centering on the Cielo Vista Mall area. And some of our commenters saying that hearing from some police radio dispatches, suspects still being sought. If that is still the case, if that is still happening, it could easily go into surrounding areas. So avoid it if at all possible. If you are in the area and unable to leave, just make sure you're safe. Lock doors, draw blinds, those kind of things. As this ends up going on foot in situations like that, it could get extensive. So we're going to have to leave it for today, as we are out of time here for this broadcast. And our broadcast, of course, our news partners at KFOX 14 will continue to have updated coverage for you there, and we will be posting as much as is available and is relevant. So that is all for us for today. I do want to thank everyone that did tune in, call in, comment. If we weren't able to get to your call because of the situation, it is what it is today. Breaking news situation, not one we typically end up expecting, but that'll do it for us for today. I do want to thank everyone that did tune in, call in, comment, participate in the show. Not exactly how we expected this to go, but we'll be back tomorrow, I am sure, with more on this. And again, breaking news updates from our news partners at KFOX 14. So as I mean it, more than I usually do, stay safe out there. Look twice for motorcycles when crossing and when on the roads, and have a safe evening, all. We'll see you tomorrow.
Traffic all day. News Radio 690.
Traffic slow on the 10 eastbound from Franklin through downtown and Reynolds Street with 7-minute delays. Police are asking people to stay away from Cielo Vista Mall, Gateway West at Hawkins Boulevard. The right lane there is partially closed by the Cielo Vista Mall entrance. A crash reported at Copia and Pershing, and slow traffic on Montana Avenue eastbound from the Loop out to Zaragoza. 7-minute delays. Kerry Edwards, El Paso traffic.
I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I love Navage. I've told you about how your nose is the body's air filter, that Navage's powered suction will help flush out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs, and that Navage will help you breathe better. But what do other people say about Navage? Like Josh, quote, "After walking around my whole life being a mouth breather, I was excited to try Navage. I read the directions carefully, pressed the button, and oh my gosh, what a sensation. So much mucus, so much crud, but oh sweet, merciful air, I can finally breathe you through my nose. Never have I ever taken such an amazing breath in my life. This is a life changer," unquote. He's one of over 100,000 online reviews praising Navage, the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million people to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Target, Rite Aid, and online. Navage, Navage, clean nose, healthy life.
Portions of the following program were pre-recorded.
If you see something, why do you say something?
I see safe for my friends.
For my community.
For everyone here. We all have something worth protecting, a why that unifies us. Report suspicious activity to local authorities. If you see something, say something.
Wake up and text. Text and eat. Text and meet up with a friend you haven't seen in forever.
Hi.
Oh, hey. Text and complain that they're on their phone the whole time. Text and listen to them complain that you're on your phone the whole time. Text and whatever. But when you get behind the wheel, give your phone to a passenger. Put it in the glove box. Just don't text and drive. Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
In 50 feet, turn left. Why are you driving so slowly?
After a few drinks, I'm taking it slow.
Well, you're not fooling the cop behind you.
What?
Get ready to pay in 0.1 miles.
Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving. Because buzz driving
News on
is
the
drunk
hour
driving.
and the
Brought to you by
hat.
National Highway
Traffic and
Safety
weather all
Administration.
day. News Radio 690 is KTSM AM El Paso, an iHeart radio station.